Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of English Storytime with Mark. I'm Mark. Today we're going to be reading a story called The Aunt and Amabel. It was written by Nesbit and appeared in her short story collection called The Magic World, which was published in 1912. Nesbit was considered one of the very first fantasy writers, an early fantasy writer, and probably one of the first for children. And her writing influenced C.S. Lewis and his Narnia series, as well as J.K. Rowling and lots of other people too. She also co-founded the Fabian Society in the U.S., or in the U.K. rather. She was English, which was a socialist organization later affiliated with the modern-day Labour Party. So quite interesting. Interesting woman. She was a fantasy writer and a political activist. So let's see what her story says now. It is called The Aunt and Amabel. Amabel was a quiet and thoughtful girl, often lost in her own world. One day, something unusual happened. She accidentally spilled ink on her aunt's new white tablecloth. It wasn't on purpose, but her aunt was furious. "You must be more careful, Annabelle," her aunt scolded. "Go to your room and think about what you've done." Amabel went upstairs, her heart heavy. She hadn't meant to make a mess, but now her aunt was upset with her. She sat on her bed, staring at the ceiling. The room felt quiet and lonely. While looking around, she noticed something strange. A book she had never seen before lay on her small desk. The cover was bright green, and gold letters spelled out "The Door of Wishes." Amabel's curiosity grew. She opened the book and found a single piece of paper inside. On it were these words: "Find the door and step inside. A world of wonder awaits." Amabel looked around her room again. There was no door except the one leading to the hallway. But then something magical happened. The wardrobe in the corner of her room shimmered. Slowly, its doors glowed faintly, as though inviting her to open them. She tiptoed over, her heart beating fast. She pulled the doors open and saw not her usual clothes, but a bright golden light. It felt warm and magical. "Maybe this is the door," she whispered to herself. She stepped inside and found herself in a beautiful garden. Flowers of all colors surrounded her, and the air smelled like fresh rain and sweet honey. In the center of the garden stood a tall tree with golden leaves. "Hello, Amabel," said a soft voice. Amabel turned to see a small, kind-looking woman. She wore a dress made of flower petals, and her hair sparkled like sunlight. "Who are you?" Amabel asked. "I am the keeper of the garden," the woman said with a smile. "You have come through the door of wishes. This place is special. Here, everything has meaning, and everyone finds what they need." "But I didn't wish for anything," Amabel said. The keeper chuckled. "Sometimes wishes come from the heart, even if you don't say them out loud. Tell me, Amabel, what is troubling you?" Amabel thought for a moment. "I made a mistake. I spilled ink on my aunt's tablecloth, and she's very angry. I didn't mean to do it, but now I feel terrible." The keeper nodded. "Mistakes happen, Amabel. The important thing is to learn from them. Would you like to see how the garden can help you?" Amabel nodded eagerly. The keeper led her to a small pond. Its water was clear, and Amabel could see her reflection. But as she stared, the reflection changed. She saw herself at her aunt's table, carefully writing with her pen. Suddenly the ink spilled and she saw her aunt's angry face. "I didn't mean to do it," Amabel whispered to the pond. The keeper waved her hand and the pond showed something new. Amabel saw herself apologizing to her aunt. She imagined herself explaining what had happened and offering to help clean the tablecloth. "I can do that," Amabel said with determination. The keeper smiled. "You see, Amabel, taking responsibility and trying to fix things is a powerful way to show you care. It may not erase the mistake, but it shows that you are kind and thoughtful." Amabel felt a little braver. But before she could say more, the garden began to change. The flowers swayed and the golden tree shone brighter. "Your time is almost up," the keeper said gently. "But remember, Amabel, mistakes don't define you. What matters is how you respond to them." The golden light surrounded Amabel again. She blinked and found herself back in her room, standing in front of the wardrobe. The book was still on her desk, but now the words inside had disappeared. Amabel took a deep breath and went downstairs. Her aunt was still frowning, folding the ruined tablecloth. "I'm sorry, Aunt," Amabel said. "I didn't mean to spill the ink. Let me help clean it. If it's ruined, I'll find a way to make it up to you." Her aunt looked surprised, then softened. "It's good that you want to help, Amabel. Mistakes happen, but being responsible is important. Let's try to fix it together." As they worked side by side, Amabel realized something. Just like the keeper had said, mistakes were not the end of the world. They were a chance to grow, to learn, and to make things better. From that day on, Amabel was more careful. Not just with ink, but also with her actions. And whenever she made a mistake, she remembered the garden and the lesson it had taught her. So that was The Aunt and Amabel. I hope you enjoyed the story and it will inspire you to read this or any other stories in English. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you next time on English Story with Mark. Bye for now, friends.